Hey, welcome back. My name's Justin. Today I want to do my first impressions on the EFNOTE Mini, a drum set that I personally did not see coming. I actually was wondering what in the world that EFNOTE would do as their next release, because they had the 3, the 3X, the 5, the 5X, the 7, the 7X, and then a whole ton of pro drum sets. And I was like, are they going to start over? Are they going to make a new and improved version of the 3 or something? Exactly what's their next game plan? I didn't really expect them to come out with a mini version of the EFNOTE 5, which is basically what this is. So the Mini is essentially a smaller, slimmed down version of the EFNOTE 5, but with a different module. Roughly around the same pricing as the 3, or maybe even slightly cheaper. It depends on what their exact final pricing will be. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, along with the specs, who this might be for, and whether or not it's worth buying. But first, today's video is brought to you by Edrum Center. If you're shopping for electronic drums, go give Edrum Center a shot. They got a great selection of the best brands, a lot of great accessories, and a very knowledgeable staff. Use my discount link to them in the description of this video. This is basically the electronic drum version of a Tama Club Jam Flyer kit or a Ludwig Breakbeats kit. You know, those really small, portable acoustic drum sets that maybe you would play at a coffee shop, or maybe you would give to your kid because, it's a smaller form factor. It's great for kids or teenagers. Really, it can be whatever you want it to be. And this is the kind of kit that maybe some people might buy as a secondary kit to their main setup. Or it could be for people that are in a small apartment, they don't really have a ton of space, but they want something that has a bit of an acoustic shell and a fun look. This could also fit the bill for that. The kick drum is 14 by 10, the snare is 10 by 4.5, high tom is 8 by 6.5, and the floor tom is 10 by 10. The cymbals are 12 inches for the 2-piece hi-hats. This is actually a brand new component from the company. You get an 8-inch splash cymbal and a 16-inch ride cymbal. Now, when it comes to included hardware, it's the basic essentials. So you get a little arm that attaches to your hi-hat stand, which holds the splash cymbal. You get the mount that holds high tom number 1. The drum set also comes with a ride cymbal stand, although not the exact one that you're seeing in this video, because this drum set is a beta kit. And then finally, you get a cell phone tray that sits right underneath your drum module to hold your iPhone or Android phone while you're playing the songs off of Spotify. It's one of those little things that actually is really useful in real life. Things not included are a hi-hat stand. You need to buy one of those separate, and it doesn't come with a kick drum pedal in the box. And for those of you wondering exactly how much space on the ground this drum set will take up when it's fully set up, here's the dimensions according to their official website. We'll talk about the module in a second, but when it just comes to the pads themselves, here's a couple of things I noticed when sitting down and playing the kit. The first is, you might be thinking that the kick drum would move around because it's very, very small, but the way they got it set up, it's actually very, very stable, at least on that particular drum rug. It is not budging at all, and it floats above the ground a little bit. And of course, because this is an EFNOTE drum set, there's a secondary sensor on the side of the rim that allows you to do side stick versus regular rim shot sounds without having to press a toggle switch inside of the module. I like it. It's a pretty elegant solution in my book. When it comes to the splash cymbal, on some of the kits built in, it will be a splash cymbal sound assigned to that pad, but other times it will be a full-on crash cymbal. So you don't really know what you're getting until you get used to the kits. I did ask EFNOTE about expandability, and I was told there is room inside of the module for one extra pad. So you can have either an extra crash cymbal or maybe tom 2. It's up to you which of those you want to go if you want to expand the drum set. I also asked if you could use cable splitters, and I was told that the answer is technically yes, but EFNOTE does not recommend it because of the difference between rim and head processing. EFNOTE is not trying to position itself as the ultra nerd, a DIY sort of thing. EFNOTE is trying to make a very simplified product that's fun to play, just works, that kind of thing, and isn't trying to be overly complicated. Now, switching over to the drum module, I was kind of surprised to see that while it is kind of similar to the other EFNOTE modules on the 3, 5, and 7 series, the body of the module is a little bit different. It just has an overall different vibe, and you have right and left master outputs on the back of the module instead of having 2 cable snakes. If you want to record this drum module, you can use those right and left master outs, or you can also record over USB. This module has switched away from micro USB, which is what the EFNOTE 3, 5, and 7 series modules use, over to USB-C. You get 8 channels of audio over USB, which is incredibly useful. You also get your mandatory aux input and Bluetooth MIDI in and out, along with Bluetooth audio, so you can connect wirelessly to your cell phone. Quick look at the specs. You get 12 kits built in, plus 18 user kits, so you can build your own stuff. For effects, you get panning, tuning, muffling, 2-band EQ, and 8 types of ambience. This module does not have layering, so that is a limitation of this versus the other EFNOTE modules. And also, if you want to control the module via your smartphone, you can use the EFNOTE Tools app. Now, in case you're wondering, what kind of kits are you getting inside of this module? Obviously, I've been sprinkling in playing examples throughout this video, but essentially, this is kind of a greatest hits sort of module. So they're grabbing kits from, the EFNOTE 3, 5, 7 series. There's even some sounds from the EFNOTE Pro module as well, which I was surprised to see. So they're basically just taking popular kits that people liked and putting 12 of them inside of this module. Okay, so specs out of the way, now let's talk about my overall thoughts about the drum set. I didn't really want to like this kit at first. When I first heard about this on Facebook, because I think they announced it a couple of days before NAMM, I just really was not excited because it's like a smaller version of the EFNOTE 5, and why not just go buy the EFNOTE 5? But when I sat down and played it, and I was talking to people, I started to get it. This is a fun little kit. It's kind of hard to sit down and play an EFNOTE drum set and not have a good time. It's basically for anybody who sees this drum set and thinks, cool. And if you see this drum set and think, oh, that's way too small, then it's not for you. And me particularly, I'm too tall for this drum set. I'm 6'5", so even the floor tom, I would have to buy aftermarket tom legs to raise it up a little bit higher to the point where I would be comfortable playing this long term. But I'm very good at adapting to smaller electronic drums because it's what I do on this channel. So I got comfortable playing this. Other people definitely looked at ease while playing this. Even though it's a smaller kit, it's just in the form factor of this sort of drum set. You see acoustic drums like this all the time. Now, when it comes to price tag, we don't really have one yet. The company's not officially set one out for the United States or North America in general. I'm not sure about Europe yet. But anyway, I was told at the booth that it will be roughly in the ballpark range of the pricing for the EFNOTE 3, which is currently $2,200. So if we take that price, could be slightly less money, we don't really know. If we take $2,000 just as a baseline, let's just say, and compare that versus the EFNOTE 5, because it's a smaller version of the EFNOTE 5, that price gap really isn't that big. And if you do go up to that drum set, you will get an extra crash cymbal in addition to the splash. You do get larger, like a larger kick drum. You get larger ride cymbal, larger hi-hats. The module has a few extra features over this one. There are reasons to go up the pricing ladder, which is, of course, what companies set out to do. They always have a drum set at this price. You spend a little bit more, you get a little bit better of a drum set. But the EFNOTE Mini is trying to be a slightly different thing. It's trying to be a mini plug-and-play drum set that has some good sounds built in. Not a ton of editing, but EFNOTE's really not into editing that deep. They're just trying to make fun, funky drum sets that just work, that sound good, and are really fun to play. And I think that the EFNOTE Mini accomplishes those goals. That's the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.